We broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is a different angle. What did you do to my camera over here? You messed with it. You definitely messed with it. What did you say?
I didn't do anything to your camera. I don't think.
Oh, this looks completely different. I don't know what you did to it, but you
I didn't touch it at all.
You messed with the camera. It feels way closer than it did before.
It was probably Rami's fault.
Rami pulled it closer so people could see his face
I didn't
more.
touch the camera at all.
I mean,
I know how to
you
do the
got your TV time yesterday, so now you probably want close-ups and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I understand. I do. I really understand. And you've been like the star of the station today, right?
Yeah, I've been all over the place. I think I've been on everything but 9 to noon.
Everything but, well, they don't. Yeah.
That's all right.
It's fine. I will say that last night we were doing the post-game show, and I saw Brandon Snides tweet with you screenshotted on TV. I was like, oh, damn, how did I miss that? Must have been doing work or whatever, not paying attention, and didn't see him when they did it. So then I brought it up on the air, and I said on the air, you looked like you were ready to cry. You were so depressed by the fact that they hadn't scored any runs at that point, and the rally cap that you thought could work clearly didn't work.
It did work. It worked for one batter, Jake Bowers.
No.
He got a single.
No.
That probably could have been a double. I think he could have stretched it out for sure. The right fielder was playing way too far.
Rally had only works if they score runs, dude. It's not meant to get a hit and then the inning to be over.
When you only have 3 hits all game, it is fun to get one hit. That's enough, man. I
guess.
It's a little bit of a rally.
Did you see your guy Jake Bowers today? Oh,
I did.
Horrible. Like, hand comes off the bat, and then he's in the dugout, like, looking at the bat, like, oh, it must be something wrong with the bat. That must be what
Andrew
happened.
Vaughn got another hit, so,
Yeah,
at least he's doing good, and we don't have to worry about them both.
He did. Yelich had an RBI hit. That was nice.
Ortiz continues being Barry Bonds out of nowhere.
That was a Mets outfielder fiasco.
I'm giving Joey Ortiz credit. I don't care whose fault it was.
Sure, a 12-year-old could have caught that ball in the outfield. And that was Beatty. And again, Beatty is an infielder, right? I mean, second base, third base, wherever you're going to play him.
Kind of. The reason he's in the outfield is because you didn't trust him in the infield.
Well, still, I'm just saying, by trade, he is an infielder coming up. He was supposed to be that hotshot third base prospect for the Mets a couple of years ago. I remember talking about him, about maybe the Brewers need to go get Beatty to help take care of third base, because at that point, they had nothing in the farm system as far as third basemen go. But yeah, Brewers offense, 3 runs on the board. No shutout today of the Brewers. And this is a good pitcher in Scott going for the Mets today. He's had a really, really solid year, sub-3 ERA. I've got him in fantasy baseball, so I've been kind of watching him game by game. Speaking of which, I picked up Thornton Monday night when I got home for Tuesday.
So it was your fault.
For Tuesday. And I looked at it like, well, if we're going to lose, at least I'll get some fantasy points. And if we blow them up, then I can say I jinxed Thornton and I helped the Brewers win. So I figured either way.
Or you jinxed the Brewers by picking up Thornton.
Yes, but I got points for my fantasy team, you see. Wow, so I worked out that way.
So selfish.
I was looking at trying to figure out how
I was going to the game. You knew Josh was going to the game. And you said, how do I ruin their nights?
I'm sorry.
By doing that. That's what you were thinking.
I'm sorry. Not really. But I mean, I'm sorry that it worked out that way for you. Coming up today, an abbreviated show, we think. This game is taking forever, so we may be on to 5 anyways. But as of right now, we're slated to be on to around 4 or so when the Brewers game ends. So things kind of get moved around a little bit, right? Charlie Sound of the day moves up to 2:40. We have our green and gold update normally at 4, move that up to 3 o'clock. ESPN keeps putting these things out on their website every day. There is a very concerning one today. It's not position related, it's age related. And for a team that's consistently like the youngest team in baseball or in the bottom 3 of, being that, to see where they're ranked in 25 and under talent. So we'll talk about that coming up at 3 o'clock. Going to talk some Bucks basketball as well. As obviously we're up against the Brewers game right now. So that makes all the sense in the world to do that too. There is a piece out. There's multiple pieces out. Bob Nightingale's got some stuff out right now. And there's been stuff out by The Athletic. Everybody's got their rumors, trade rumors, and all this stuff going on. The latest one that I saw was on Tarek Skubal. Now, they're saying that these next 10 or so games before the deadline is everything for the Detroit Tigers, because if they keep playing well, then there's a good chance that they don't move Skubal and they don't move Mize, which is understandable. If they don't, if they go like 3-7 or something like that in these next 10, then there is a chance that they move both of those guys. So the report out today on Skubal was that one of the things they're going to demand in all of this is they want a controllable young pitcher that they're going to have control over for a few years. The name that I saw thrown out there when lining the Brewers up with the Tigers is the guy that's on the mound right now in Logan Henderson, being a guy that would essentially go back the other way in a deal for a rental for Skubal. So if it's Henderson, I don't think, maybe I'll be wrong, I don't think you would have to move Pena with Henderson potentially. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Henderson could essentially be that piece that you build the rest of the package around, especially if he pitches well here in the next 2 outings. That just does nothing but increase his stock and potentially allow you to give up less around Henderson in a package.
Maybe not Pena, but I think there's going to be other guys in the farm system that a lot of people have fallen in love with that you are going to have to move on from still in that case. I think Blake Burke is going to be a guy because Spencer Torkelson has not worked out to the way that they wanted to, so he's going to be an option. I think Brock Wilken is another guy. Luke Adams is another player. All these infield guys that the Tigers are really looking at right now as well. If you go to the outfield, Josh Adamczewski is playing amazing right now, and he's the number 80 prospect in MLB or 90 prospect in minor league baseball pipeline.
Another home run last night.
He looks really good, but he's still farther down on the Brewers prospect list. If a lot of teams look at that and say, you know what, maybe they won't value him as high as some of these other guys, maybe the Brewers move on from him. I think either way, when you move on from Logan Henderson plus one more guy in this farm system, fans are going to be upset, even though we're loaded with prospects, and it's going to be okay, guys.
Correct. Absolutely loaded with prospects. The other part of this, when we talk about building this package, besides Henderson, who is a major league player already, will the Tigers look at this and go, okay, we'll take Henderson, but we also want, one of your outfielders coming back in that deal too, whether it be Lara, whether it be Frelick, whoever it may be coming back the other way, more of a major league player versus projecting in 3 to 4 years from now. We want to get ourselves back into this sooner rather than later and not be in a full rebuild for 5 to 10 years. Because that's the one thing. Every general manager is going to be different, right? So if you're in Philly and you're Dave Dombrowski, you aren't ever thinking about, 5 years from now, this guy's going to be good. That's not how Dombrowski works. If you're AJ Preller for the Padres, you're never thinking about 5 years from now. You're thinking about emptying out the prospects that I have to play for now because Preller thinks he's a fantasy baseball GM instead of a real GM. So that's how he operates in San Diego. Now, sometimes you'll have general managers that are looking for the long-term play because they have job security and they have time. When Doug Melvin took the job with the Brewers, he had all kinds of job security. He told me later the first 3 years were essentially a honeymoon. He told Ned Yost, hey, dude, don't worry about the wins and losses necessarily. Right? That's not what this is about. You're here to coach the kids that are coming up in the farm system. The Fielder, Weeks, Hard Hardy. You're here for that. I told this story before. I remember Ned sitting in his office and knew what his top 3 or top 4 in that lineup was going to look like. And those guys were at AA. And he was writing out kind of what his lineup was going to look like when they got there. So that's where he was focused. Doug was just giving them pieces so they could have a team, essentially, and get to that point. So when Doug made trades, yeah, it was for the future. Then when you get Stearns and Matt Arnold in here and they're looking at doing things, they kind of do that, but not even, they don't even do it to that same degree where it's like, okay, we're getting these guys in single A and double A, and they're going to be really good in 3 or 4 years, and we're going to wait. Even the deals that these two guys make, Charlie, are for guys that are close to major league ready and can contribute within the first year and a half or so.
Well, and a lot of teams recently, I think, have started looking for that. You look at just the American League playoff race in general and why the Tigers would be willing to maybe do more major league to major league type deals. It's them and 9 other teams all fighting for still a spot in the playoffs. And all these teams are going to say, you know what, maybe if we can talk to the right team, get the right pieces, we can find a way to compete. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I think that's just a trend across the league as the league gets younger too. A lot of the best stars in the game right now are 27 and younger. That's kind of crazy to see. I think a lot of teams are going to try to capitalize off that, especially with the CBA discussion coming up here, where maybe you are going to have to start locking guys into contracts earlier on because you don't have the same kind of control over them in their younger years.
And the MLBPA, speaking of the CBA coming up, they had their deal yesterday talking about the draft, the amateur draft, and kind of what they're looking for from the amateur draft perspective. The one thing that they're talking about is, hey, we would like to see draft picks be able to be traded. And if we're being honest, I think everybody wants to see that. I think owners want to see that. I know Matt Arnold does. We talked about that previously. I'm like, can you imagine how fun it would be to trade draft picks? And he's smiling from ear to ear. He's like, oh, I'd have a blast doing that. Because then you can move around the draft. Now, all of a sudden, if there's a stud college player, let's say, in the top 3, and you're a team like the Brewers who are like, man, that kid is here within a year and a half, and I fixed my hole where I have it right now and relatively cheap. Yeah, I'm going to give up some future picks possibly and maybe a major league player or two to go get the kid that I really want. It would change how the draft is viewed for certain. Now, when people turn on the draft for the MLB, now there will be major interest in what's going on.
Well, and that might make the MLB change the way they do their draft, because right now it's 8 billion rounds and you have all these.
It's only 20.
I know. It still feels way too long.
It used to be 50.
It's just crazy how long it is. I think they would probably shorten it down to where every pick can be valuable in a trade. Then they want to make sure that if you're going to do this, you're going to make it a spectacle. So I think it would go down to probably about 7 to 8 rounds, maybe 10 rounds, just to keep it a little different from the other leagues. I think that's where you would want it to be as a fan too. If you're going to sit down and watch it, you don't want it to be 20 rounds. I'm not going to watch 20 rounds. And I don't think the value of picks 13 through 20 for most teams is worth trading that at all.
And they really only show the first couple of rounds that first day. Some stuff over here in the Dugout YouTube chat. Jeff chiming in, talking about the possibility of a Skubal deal, and the name being attached, the controllable asset from a pitching perspective has been Logan Henderson here in the last 24 hours.
Jeff says, Steve and Charlie, great show. I would give Lara, but not sure about Henderson. Just my opinion.
That's the thing that we have to remember. In order to get something, you have to give something. And sometimes it's going to hurt when you have to part with said players in order to get it done. That's just kind of how it is. So yeah, maybe it's not Henderson. Maybe it's Sproat if they like Sproat. Again, I don't think he's done enough at the big league level necessarily to make him the crown jewel of a trade necessarily at this point. But again, you hear guys like Vinny Rottino saying he's got elite stuff, and guys saying eventually he's going to be a 2 or a 3 in a rotation, even though right now he's more like a 5 in a rotation. That eventually, when he figures this out, he'll be okay. Tim Allen last night on the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show, he was hammering on the fact of, dude, he has to figure out what his close pitch is. You cannot continue to get to 2 strikes and a guy foul off 10 balls and he can't put him away. That is the one area. I think there were 22 fouled off pitches against him last night. And then you look on the other side, Thornton had 14. Against the Brewers, and the Brewers are known for fouling off and battling pitchers. So when you look at the number for Sprout, that's a big number.
Well, and the Brewers' contact, their bad contact, they were just kind of unlucky with it last night. It was all staying fair.
They had some hard hit balls.
They were not going foul, and they would hit the ball hard, but it would be just underneath the ball, and it wouldn't be enough to get it over the fence or get it into a gap or anything like that. They just kept floating it up to the outfield, or if they did make weak contact, it was staying in play, and that was frustrating, I'm sure, from their offensive standpoint. Tim's exactly right. That was the most frustrating thing last night watching Brandon Sproat, is he would get so confident early on in these at-bats, especially in that first inning. You saw the first couple at-bats where he strikes out the first couple of guys, or strikes out the first guy, walks the second guy, and then comes back, strikes out the second guy. And you think, okay, he's feeling confident in this game, and then he can't get to that third strikeout pitch anymore for the rest of the game. It feels like, especially after he gives up that early home run too. That's been his other problem, is he's great until he gives up a home run, and he gives up a home run every game. That's what it feels like since like the past couple of months. He's just been so out of his mind whenever he gives up the long ball, and it's really frustrating to watch.
The thing about him last night though was what? He wasn't allowing these guys to get in. I mean, he was putting ducks on the pond, but they weren't coming around and scoring. I mean, he left that game and only given up 1 run, and the guy on base was his. Obviously, he did not want to come out. Again, that shows you the competitiveness and everything else. He was mad, but he was at 99 pitches. Like, it wasn't like he was pulling him at 60 and didn't trust him. He gave him all the way to almost 100 pitches before he went out there and got him in the 5th. And then, of course, the hit gets given up, and he just walks off shaking his head, essentially like, gosh darn it, I knew I should have stayed in there, but it is what it is.
When you have 26 pitches in the first inning and you were at 2 outs at 13 pitches, I think is what it was, how can you expect to stay in these games, dude? You have to be able to put guys away.
Some of the other stuff the MLBPA has put out there about the amateur draft, they want to move the draft to June. That's not going to happen. The reason it's not going to happen is because the MLB made the right decision to put it at the All-Star break for a reason, to allow more people to know about it, talk about it, and so forth. So that I don't think they're going to agree upon, because to be honest with you, that would be dumb. Preserving draft eligibility for high school and junior college players and expanding eligibility to college sophomores. I don't think they're going to give you college sophomores either. It's going to, because you are eventually going to get to the point where they'll just keep asking to move it back. Well, only 1 year. If you pass in high school, you only have to play 1 year of ball. If you pass in high school, you only have to play 2, because that's what they're trying to get versus 3. But you want it to be a big enough incentive to try to get them in your minor league system earlier. That's what the owners are looking at. They want you out of high school. They'd prefer you probably not go to 3 years of school. They'd rather get you younger with their coaches and develop you at that point versus waiting until you're 3 years in college.
Yeah, but when you're getting drafted in the 13th round and you don't feel like you're going to make very much money, or it's going to be a much harder path for you to make it through the minor leagues,
those people should go to college.
Like, those guys will go to college. And I think if you choose to go to college, it's because you think you can get more money out of that nowadays,
NIL,
or that you can develop there too. And if you're going to choose the development route, I think 3 years is good. I think cutting that down is kind of making, like, it makes it not worth it to go to college at all and go and play in that style of baseball. If you want to go there, you want to go there because you want to develop, or because you think you can make more money there. Go and do that. Don't flip-flop. This is what the problem with NIL and the transfer portal is in general.
Retaining a 20-round draft, MLBPA says, increasing signing bonuses, no surprise there, maintaining competitive balance sections for smaller markets, owners will be happy with that, and increased signing bonus pools for lower revenue clubs. That, I think, is good too. Not sure if the owners will agree with me on that, but I like that as well, because what does that do? That allows teams like Milwaukee to get more Cooper Pratts, right? Guys that these other teams don't think they can get because they don't have enough signing money in order to pull them away from, say, an NIL deal or something like that, where now you give these lower market revenue market teams a better chance to get some of these guys that the bigger markets can't, because they're restricted by actually what they can spend. It actually gives them an advantage in the draft, to which if I'm Mark, I'm like, yes, please, let's do this. Absolutely. And if you're the Dodgers, you just say, sure, fine.
Right.
Whatever.
That's the problem, though, with it, is I think it's just kind of like a nothing add-on there. It makes it seem like, oh, you're helping out the small market teams, because right now the players are opposite the small market teams, so it seems, at least. So this is just an easy way to say, hey, look, we're giving you guys something. We're giving you guys a little bit, when really, like, I don't think anybody truly cares about that. Sure, Mark would say yes, but I also don't think he would be mad if it didn't pass.
Correct. He is Charlie Hughes and Steve Sparky Fiber with you. Baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. Coming up on the other side here, we're going to switch gears to the Milwaukee Bucks a little bit. There are 2 names being linked to the Bucks, both in potential trades involving the Milwaukee Bucks. So we'll talk about which one would make more sense for the Bucks, if either one of them in general, and what you think about that whole idea. It is the Wisconsin Sports Daily program, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book. Back after this. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Fiver, Charlie Hughes, another side of the glass. Habish, and Rotier. Don't forget, you can plead the fifth coming up on Friday at 4:20. Tell somebody to hush it. That is getting on your nerves or whatever the case may be. Could be a friend, family member, whoever. Habish and Rotier, national reputation, hometown service, helping injured Wisconsinites since 1930. 13 different locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin. So they are where you want them to be. Always can find them on the internet as well at habish.com. What separates them, obviously, is they're the best, therefore the national reputation. But the other part is the hometown service part. So often, I don't want to offend our car salespeople, but so often, a lawyer and a car salesman can be lumped together, right? They're just trying to get your money, Sparky. That's all they're trying to do. They don't care about you, blah, blah. Okay. That's not true on all accords. It's just not. And in this situation here with Habish, and Rotier, that's the one thing they want to make sure you understand. That they are approachable. They want to help you get what you deserve at the end of the day. They know, because they're very, very experienced of dealing with this, all of the mental and physical anguish that you go through when you are in a situation like this. Car is totaled, medical bills are piling up, potentially in the hospital, dealing with paying all of this, figuring out how you're going to get your next car, dealing with insurance, whatever. Habish, and Rotier can help you with all of that stuff. Get a hold of them today at habish.com. Habish, and Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. So the Milwaukee Bucks have Summer League all done, which is just nice. Burries obviously played well. Amon showed flashes, which is good. But the one thing that's still, a couple of things that still lie out there are still rumors and speculation that there are more deals coming for NBA teams. That the offseason is not done. First off, Joey Ortiz just get another hit?
He did indeed.
Oh, who's on second?
Let me double check.
Is that Cooper Pratt? That'd be nice.
I don't think so. I think Cooper Pratt just got out before him.
That's Vaughn.
Vaughn. Yeah, I was going to say.
I can tell by his body and how he runs that's Vaughn. So that's good. First and second. Vaughn with a couple of hits too.
Looks like they're coming out to talk to Scott.
It's only the bottom of the fourth. First and second, couple out. He's done. Didn't even make it to the fifth inning. That is a big, big deal there for the Milwaukee Brewers to knock Scott out of the game here in the fourth inning, up 3-1. Yelich on deck, with all due respect. I'm not pulling him because of Yelich. And to be honest with you, I'm not pulling him because of Churiel either, because Churiel looks lost as all get out at the plate at this point.
Just as bad. I was talking to Spark about this. I've complained about a lot of things from that game last night on the station today through all my time slots that I've been on. But the one thing I haven't complained about is the fact that Pat Murphy, I think, just has babied Jackson Churiel to the point where he's not letting him swing at first pitch strikes. He gets balls right down the middle, consistently. Every at-bat for the past couple of weeks, It's been exactly like that. He just sits there and watches it. And then the very next pitch, I don't really think it matters what kind of pitch it is. He just swings for the fences because he thinks he's going to get the same exact pitch over and over again. You have to let him just start swinging at some of these first strikes. And I understand that he had a problem doing that earlier on in his career. But if that's going to mess him up that bad later on in his at-bats moving forward, and he's going to continue to struggle like this, you have to let him be a little bit more freewheeling with it.
What I don't understand, and Tim and I got into this last night because people are getting frustrated with Churiel like you are. He hit over 300 last month. Mm-hmm. So what?
He's still hitting over 300. Yeah.
So, but what changed though? I mean, he's not having a good month of July, but I mean, what has really changed? Because I agree with you. It does seem like he is taking more pitches and not being as aggressive early in at bats, whether that is a plan, whether that's something that's just materialized over the course of time. Subconsciously, he doesn't even realize, he's doing it necessarily at this point because nobody's pointed it out. I have no idea, but you can definitely tell there's a difference.
It's just frustrating because, again, you're starting to see other guys, I think, figure it out a little bit with Joey Ortiz getting more comfortable out there at the plate. Andrew Vaughn has looked really good over the past couple of weeks when he gets playing time. Really happy he gets to start for the third straight game in a row. That's really encouraging moving forward as we get through the end of the season here. Yep. I need Jackson Trigger to kind of follow suit. I feel like we've seen him in the past have moments like this and then figure it out pretty quickly. I need him to start figuring it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think he will at some point here. Okay, back to the NBA conversation we were having. So the Milwaukee Bucks have been connected to a couple of different guys. They've been connected to Peyton Watson, the wing out of the Denver Nuggets organization, and they've been connected to Jonathan Kuminga, who, of course, was with the Warriors, another wing who in Atlanta, and now potentially is available. Now, according to Michael Scotto, the intel on him is that Kuminga remains a candidate to return to Atlanta. However, the Lakers, Clippers, Cavs, and Bucks all remain interested in bringing in Kuminga. So that is an idea. The other part of this with Watson is there is some conversation that they're going to match whatever comes on Watson. But to go along with that, depending on what the Watson deal is, they may match the Watson deal because he's a restricted free agent and then potentially move Cam Johnson to the team that offered the restricted free agent deal to Watson in essentially a return deal of, hey, we know you wanted him. Sorry, we matched, but we got to do just like him here that's making maybe similar money, maybe a little bit less than Cam Johnson, and we'll give him back to you for a couple of picks or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that's been some of the ideas floated out around there about whoever goes after Watson. Their assumption now is the Nuggets will match, and that could be just out there to scare people away. Like, don't waste your time, we're matching. And that's why it's running through the NBA trade circles right now of don't waste your time, they're going to match. Who knows?
Well, Cam Johnson's on, I believe, his third team now in a young career. Yeah. He had a peak pretty early on in his career as a three-point shooter with the Suns, and then it just kind of started going downhill when he got a bigger role with the Nets after that, after they traded him there. Then he gets moved to the Nuggets to kind of help out when Michael Porter Jr. goes down for them, and then they trade them for each other. And then I think Cam Johnson just didn't really step into that role all that well last season alongside Nikola Jokic, where I feel like he probably should have. That's a guy that you should be a deadly three-point shooting power forward and be able to help him out as he takes over in the paint. I just don't know if he holds that same kind of value to other teams. And for the Nuggets to turn around and say, hey, we got a guy that's almost like that, that's not going to fly. Well, people are going to be mad that you matched him. They're not going to give you that benefit.
We shall see how that all plays out going forward. Here's another little nugget from Michael Scotto. The Wizards are looking at a backup point guard. I know a team that has a bunch of guards on their roster that would love to get rid of one of them for, say, I don't know, a second-round pick if you can get it.
Well, but you could maybe get a little bit more than that if you were willing to trade a player a little bit better than that. I think if you look at the Milwaukee Bucks and wanted to trade Ryan Rollins or a Kevin Porter Jr., I think you could probably get another young player back in a trade and maybe 2 second-round picks. I think you could get more than just 1 second-round pick.
And that's either way, whether it's 1 second-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a young player coming back the other way.
AJ Johnson and 2 second-round picks. Would you take that?
Sure. I don't know, man.
Is Johnny Davis still there?
Both
Johnny
of those
Davis in 2 seconds.
Both of those Bucks draft picks that year, Tyler Smith and him, neither one of them really, in my mind, have gotten a fair shot anywhere at this point. Neither one of them may end up making it.
But doesn't that say something about who they are as players? Like, if you haven't, AJ Johnson's currently on the Memphis Grizzlies also.
Yeah, he just got traded there.
That's right.
Because there was talk that he was going back to the Bucks that night. Then that got rebuffed and said, no, that's wrong. He's going to Memphis in that deal.
I think if you're going to be on your fourth team in 2 seasons going into your third season, that might be a problem.
And in Memphis, he's going to get some run because that is a rebuilding team.
And if he doesn't get run, your career's over. Right?
You just got rid of Ja Morant. They just drafted Boozer. So, that's going to be a fairly young basketball team that here's your chance to go show that you can play, 30 minutes a night and without any having to look over your shoulder, whatever else. I'd have to go look at the depth chart for the Grizzlies to see who their starting point guard even is at this point. But we were going to do a topic here, and we've already wasted the entire segment talking about everything else. So maybe we'll do it tomorrow. But what I wanted to know was Kuminga versus Watson. Of those two guys, do either of those guys move the needle for you as far as future star for the Milwaukee Bucks? Because that's really, If you bring in either one of these guys, what are you going to spend? $25 million a year, somewhere in that area, $20 to $25 million a year. So you're going to pay them like they're your number one option. That's how you're going to pay them. And here, how about this? I found this too, which was really good. Somebody put out on X. It's Damian Peters. Who is Damian Peters? Senior NBA writer and analyst for Basketball Network. Okay. He put out top 3 cap eaters for each franchise by percentage for each NBA team. So to give you an idea, let's say we look at Denver. The Joker takes up 35.7% of their cap. Jamal Murray takes up 30% of their cap. And Aaron Gordon takes up 19% of their cap.
All right. So that gets them right about like
it's 86% of their cap.
I was going to say 85. That's crazy.
86% of their cap in 3 players in Denver. Okay.
3 players that helped them win a championship. So I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Golden State, 37.9% with Curry, 34.4% with Butler. Draymond is out there still, so we don't know what Draymond's going to sign for. And then third right now is Porzingis at 12%. If you go to the Milwaukee Bucks, knowing what those numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here, let's do Miami quick too. Giannis, 35.4%. Mm-hmm. Bam, 30%. Andrew Wiggins, 18%. So that is 83% of the roster in 3 players. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. The Milwaukee Bucks, as we said, Tyler Hero, 20%. Miles Turner, 16.1%. And Kyle Kuzma, 12%. That's only 48%. But wait, I have good news. 2 of those guys, Hero at 20 and Kuzma at 12, are expiring contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And Turner is essentially could be traded at any point.
So Gary Trent Jr. is going to be your highest paid player, the biggest percentage of your cap coming up here. Yeah.
But in relative terms to the rest of the league, that's not big money as the number one option on a team financially. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. Again, they're probably going to have to overspend in order to get it done.
Gonna say, are they going to have a big shopping market, though, to go to? Because, yeah, you have money, but if you can't go anywhere and nobody wants to come to you, like...
Okay, look it up. Well, NBA free agency in 27. Who are the 27 free agency? Brett Beatty, who didn't catch a ball on Joey Ortiz, just hit a solo shot off of Logan Henderson. Both runs on home runs off of Henderson. I feel like without looking, has Henderson been giving up a bunch of home runs this year? Is it just me? Or maybe it's just the Brewer staff in general feels like they're giving up a bunch of home runs. Either way, 3-2 Brewers, still with the lead. After the last pitch, will make the switch. Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with the franchise Tim Allen comes up immediately following this game.
Henderson's only given up 3 home runs before this game on the season.
So we're on the pace to double it potentially.
Brandon Sproat's given up 16 in his 17 games started. Robert Gasser's given up 11 in 10 games started.
Yeah. Sproat's got big home run issues, it looks like. Summer's better with a Frosty in your hand. For limited time, Wendy's is giving you a sweet deal on your favorite summertime treat. A small classic Frosty for only $1. That's right. Summer should be fun, not expensive. Treat yourself and celebrate $1 Frosty summer at Wendy's. But hurry, this deal's over when the summer's gone. So get it while it's hot or, cold, I guess, in this instance. All right, free agents in 27. What do you have up there for NBA free agents? Give me some of the top guys.
Guys that are unrestricted free agents. We're talking
like 75 to 100 million potentially.
Guys that are unrestricted free agents. You're going to have Steph Curry.
No.
You don't want him?
No, I don't want him. No.
Jimmy Butler.
Absolutely not.
Kawhi Leonard.
Can we get somebody under 50?
Zach LaVine.
No.
If we go down, RJ Barrett, Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero.
Oh my God. Jordan Poole. Oh Lord.
Miles Bridges, Fred VanVleet, Cam Johnson, Kyle Kuzma. There you go. Bring him back. You're not getting much better than this. Lou Dort, if he doesn't sign an extension, but he's pretty likely going to. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, Sparky. Dante DiVincenzo?
No. Well, maybe. I mean, I could see them bringing him back if they think he's a good
Derrick Jones Jr., cool dunker.
No, pass. I mean, I could see them bringing back DiVincenzo on a deal where maybe they pay him more than everybody else to come in here and be a clubhouse guy. But again, they've got 1 million guards. They don't need another damn guard at this point. That's not something.
DeAndre Ayton?
No, old. No. I mean, so you might be in a situation where instead of going in the free agency route, that you essentially are going to make a trade to go out and get a star player and absorb a larger contract to put that person, out in front to do this. And remember, some of your salary will be eaten up if you were to get a Kuminga on a deal or to get a Watson on a deal. That may change things. All right, take a quick time out, come back. We'll get Charlie's sounds of the day straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Sparky with you. Charlie Hughes over there, other side of the glass. Did Churio get on? He must have.
He did. He had a little bloop single over Francisco Lindor that hit the top of his glove and just went right over.
Sometimes it's good to be lucky.
That's all you need.
It's better than striking out like he's been doing.
Exactly.
So we're going in the right direction at least. Hey, Potawatomi Sportsbook, 2,000 square feet center screen, 2 levels of seating, full menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen. Over 40 beers on tap, over a dozen different specialty cocktails, homemade pastries, and desserts. At the Potawatomi Casino Hotel each and every day, all day brunch, including some steak and eggs and so forth, pancakes, you name it, they got it. And again, everything you could possibly want. Salads, wraps, wings, tendies, burgers, whatever. They got it at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget the shuttles to and from all Brewers home games as well through the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Just got to make a $5 wager inside the Sportsbook. Ask for your bracelet and on to the shuttle you go, and you can save yourself some parking money at American Family Field. Check them out online today at Potawatomi.com, and you're all set.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie, use it. Where to first?
All right, we are first going to hear from the Milwaukee Brewers manager who was on Sirius XM MLB radio yesterday morning, and he was discussing the Brewers and why he thinks they aren't great yet.
What do you do during an all-star break when you guys are playing well, and then you come back and you guys start like right where you left off? What does that say about your group?
Yeah, I mean, I love the group. I trust the group. Do I think we're great? No, I don't think we're great yet, but it does say a lot that they came back and were focused to play all 9. Those 3 games against the Marlins were all very close, and then to come out last night and get it done. So again, I'm pleased, and I trust them. I trust them that they do want to win, that they have their priorities in order for the most part. We're not great yet, but hopefully that'll happen at some point.
Let me ask you the odds that Pat Murphy at any point will say he has a great team.
Never. Maybe if they win a World Series.
That's the only time.
Even then, he might still say, oh, we got stuff to work on. We got things to get better at.
We really weren't as good as we were. Somehow we figured out how to beat a good team at the end of the day, but plenty to work on for next year. I think you get great team out of Pat Murphy if they win a World Series. Do I think you get a great team out of Pat Murphy between now and the end of the season? I do not. No. I don't think he'll
That's
ever
been his
give
mentality
them,
the entire time.
Yes, he's never going to give them the satisfaction of saying they're great, no matter what their record is, no matter how good they are. He's always going to have something being held over the top of them of what they need to do to get better, to keep them kind of going forward, not getting complacent and getting high and mighty on themselves. All right, what's next?
Next up, we're going to head over and hear from NFL broadcaster and Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees on the evolving Hall of Fame standards for quarterbacks nowadays.
It's not apples to apples, right? I mean, if you compare the statistics of any position now with what it was 40 years ago, it's quite a bit different, but the game has changed. The style of play has changed. Here's what I think is kind of interesting that's happening with quarterbacks actually is that, maybe the touchdowns are going up, but I think the overall yardage is going down a little bit. And I attribute that to the new kickoff rules. The starting field position is actually 10 yards better now than it used to be because of the new kickoff rules. And so what does that mean? That means you have 10 fewer yards to go on a drive. Well, if you average 10 yards or 10 possessions a game, that's roughly 100 less yards that you're having to go. Well, just subtract that, from the overall yardage. Now it's going to result in more points, potentially some more touchdown passes. But I think if you look at the statistics, even with 17 games now, guys aren't throwing for the same number of yards that 10 years ago we were. I don't know where the touchdowns are, but certainly, teams are averaging in the, mid to low 30s, probably more teams than normal. So the point, the number of points goes up. So I don't know. Every little rule change has maybe some unintended consequences as you start, looking at it play out.
I don't know if I put it all there. Well, that was playing and I hadn't heard it. I immediately went to my computer and I typed in average rush attempts per team year by year to kind of see if that itself has kind of gone up over the course of time. And it really, I mean, overall, I don't think it really has changed all that much in the last 5 years. For the most part, it has been 27 attempts by team is what the average is. Now, last year, the Bills had 32 rushes per attempt. The Bears and Giants each had 30 attempts per game. In 24, the Eagles had 36 and a half attempts per game. Baltimore had 33 and a half. Washington, 31.3. And I do this for two reasons. One, for all of you that want him to throw the football more in Green Bay versus running the football. But I think that also may play into it a little bit too, as far as how much guys are running the football nowadays compared to how it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago at this point, Charlie.
I get that. I also think like Drew Brees, what he's talking about isn't just like 5 years ago. It's 10 years ago when you had Peyton Manning and Tom Brady throwing for 5,000 yards.
Because you weren't running the ball as much.
Not nearly as much. And I don't think teams were putting as much value into the running back position at that point either. I think things have just changed drastically in the NFL.
And who's to blame?
I mean, the fans.
Kyle
probably.
Shanahan. No. The
Why not?
Shanahan family is the one that screwed this whole thing up. It's Shanahan that started his new little way of playing like his dad in San Francisco.
Ruined it.
Yes, it is.
How did that ruin it?
That is what brought back the running back in the NFL. That's what's brought back that style of play, how they were doing it in Denver with Elway and Terrell Davis. Kyle Shanahan brought that back, and now you have LaFleur, and you've got McVay, and you've got all these guys now that have gone back to that old style of play that worked so well for Shanahan. And again, I'm not mad. I'm just saying that's, I think, how it all changed. Green and Gold update coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers with the bases loaded and nobody out in the fifth inning. Garrett Mitchell's coming up.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. Welcome in hour number 2. Had a whole bunch of fun. Okay, so before we get to our green and gold update, I want to do a little something before I forget, because I know I will forget. I was looking at new renderings of the new Chiefs Stadium that are out today. Have you seen them?
I saw that somebody posted them. I didn't look at them though.
Okay. So the new Chiefs Stadium is going to hold 70,000 people. Arrowhead holds 73,000. So 3,000 less.
Interesting.
They will have 20,000 parking spots for the stadium.
All right.
Not everybody's going to get a parking spot.
No, but like
And you come in, 2 or 3
you
or 4.
come at least 2.
Right.
I feel like there's very few people that are just coming on their own, and typically I think you're coming at least 3 deep. So I feel like that makes sense. That's fair.
Somewhere in that
Yeah.
area, right? Okay. The couple of things that I would like to point out, which I think is going to be the trend for all stadiums going forward, which is the clear panels that allow you to look at the sky on the roof or through the roof of the stadium. So when you're inside this new Kansas City Chiefs dome, and it's a dome, I don't believe it's retractable. It's a straight up dome. You look straight up and you can see the sky type deal.
Isn't that going to just make that a big old hot box?
Could be.
Though? Like a big old greenhouse,
Yep.
because all that hot sun is coming straight through, shining down like ants on with a magnifying glass.
I think that could be, yes. It also could potentially help keep it warmer maybe in the wintertime as well. Bryce Terine with a hell of a play just
or
now.
what if it snows a bunch during the winter? Like I feel like a lot
Then
of heavy snow on plexiglass, or I guess it's probably stronger than plexiglass for sure. But like that structurally may not be as sound as just having a metal dome, right?
Yeah, I see. Again, I don't know. It says the fully enclosed roof, which will be made of transparent ETFE polymer panels, means fans will no longer face brutal winter weather games. So polymer panels. I don't know anything about polymer panels to tell you anything.
Ethylene tetrafluoroethylene.
That's it. Yes.
Is a fluorine-based plastic. It's designed to have high corrosion resistance and strength over a wide temperature range. So it seems like it's pretty strong. I don't know. I'll trust them. They're the ones building the stadium. I'm not the one getting sued if the roof collapses on my fan base.
I would hope so. So we'll see how this all plays out. But the thing that's interesting to me about all of this is that Hunt, the owner, says that the whole building will be built for noise.
Okay, I like that.
Because again, Arrowhead's always been viewed as one of the loudest stadiums
Right.
in football. That's what it's always been. He's like, it's spectacular. It honors the rich legendary legacy of this franchise while setting a bold course for the future of Chiefs Kingdom. He also says in here that the way that the reason that they're doing it the way they are is because they want to hold the World Cup the next time it comes here in 25 or 30 years without having to change the field. So it's going to be built to hold numerous events. He's like, we're going to bid on all Final Fours. We're going to bid on everything we can get our hands on to put it inside of the dome. Now, remember, it's going from Missouri across state lines to Kansas now. So now the Kansas City Chiefs will be in Kansas versus in Missouri. It's not that far from the Speedway either. This stadium is $3 billion.
Oh, not that bad.
Not that bad. But lawmakers in Kansas unanimously agreed to fund the stadium, offering to cover up to 70% of the cost and accompanying entertainment district. So
Screw Kansas City.
the state of Kansas.
Screw Kansas, because this is making Illinois look really bad
Listen to me.
compared to that.
Yes. $3 billion are covering at least 70% of that, plus all the buildings and everything else that's going to go up around it to provide the entertainment district to go along with it. So it's going to be a hell of a lot more than $3 billion before this whole thing is said and done.
Enconson on the WI Sports Radio Growth Law video stream says, is there going to be mini golf?
Don't know.
There should be.
I think it's worth throwing the suggestion out there to them. of, hey man, this could
Giant cow maybe with the Chiefs hat.
yeah, it could
You
really
do
help
that.
to draw.
Uh-huh.
The renderings of this, the funny part about this is the Jumbotron on the one end looks the same size as Lambo's.
I
Like,
feel
you
like you'd
know,
want. Wouldn't you want like a massive one like Dallas?
There's not one hanging off the roof at all. There's nothing hanging off the
I
roof.
know a lot of players don't like the one hanging off the roof though. They like having it in one of the end zones. So I think that's fair. You don't really want to that's a Jerry thing too. That's such a Jerry thing. You don't want to be a Jerry.
You don't want to be a Jerry. Is that going to be a thing that we're going to say on the
I
show?
think
You,
it should be.
you
Yeah.
don't want to be a Jerry? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, it is 3:00. We normally do this at 4:00, but let's go.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Okay, so ESPN has been doing all this stuff, getting ready for the season to begin. Packers training camp, getting closer and closer by the day. And they did this thing on ESPN today. And they went through and they ranked every team by under 25 talent. Before I started to scroll on this piece of writing by Aaron Schatz, who does quite a bit of writing for them, in my mind, I was like, okay, where do we think they're ranked? Considering they're always the youngest team in the NFL or one of the youngest teams in the NFL, clearly means they have a lot of numbers to go along with this ranking. I was like, I'm figuring somewhere between 10 and 15, 10 and 12, worst case. I was like, maybe they'd be higher than that, but I'll think 10 to 12, 10 to 15.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would say that based off of where they've been over the past few years, a lot of those guys that have made you a top 5 unit in this category are older now. So yeah, you take a step back, but they still draft really well, have guys that come in and are impact players right away. That makes sense. Yeah.
Did you look at this?
I have not looked at the full list, no.
New England is number 1. Okay. The
Okay.
Patriots, number 1.
Interesting.
Blue chips, Will Campbell at tackle, Christian Gonzalez at corner, Drake May at quarterback, Craig Woodson just went from 25 to 26, or just went from 24 to 25, whatever. Last year, the Texans were ranked number 1. This year, they're number 2. Will Anderson Jr., the edge rusher. Ariante Ursari, is that how you say his name? The tackle, Ursari. Kamari Lassiter, CJ Stroud, all the blue chip guys on their list. The Bears are number 3 on this list.
All right.
Colston Loveland, Roma Dunze, Caleb
They're
Williams.
valuing quarterback really high on these. Yeah, for sure.
Number 4, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end. Spencer Fano, the tackle. Mason Graham, the DT, the defensive tackle. And Carson Schwessinger, the linebacker, at number 4. Last year, they were 29.
Yeah.
This year, they are 4.
Okay, that one's a little strange to me for sure. They don't even have a quarterback that you're putting in that group. Yeah, all right.
Where do you think the Packers are?
Let's see. I'm gonna assume probably a little bit lower because I've already been surprised as is. Jordan Love is no longer in that top under 25 ranking. Like 20, maybe 18. I'll give him 18.
18, you think? Let's see. Let's look. 18. 18 is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. Oh, so they're probably higher than that because I think they have better.
Jihad Campbell and Cooper DeJean are the 2 players there. They were 14 last year. This year, 18.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So then the Packers, I'll bump them back up. Let's go back where we were talking, like 15 then.
15.
Yeah.
15 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. Last year, they were 8. Now they're 15.
All right. So then the Packers are right in between those teams, I think. So like 16, 17.
No.
Great.
Lower.
Lower than that? How could they be lower than the Eagles? 25?
25 is the Washington Commanders. Josh Connerly Jr. at tackle, Sonny Styles at linebacker.
All right. So they got to be better than that. 22?
Lower.
Let's go to the bottom. 32. Who's 32? Who's the worst team in the league?
The worst team in the league is the Los Angeles Rams, with only Ty Simpson as a blue chip caliber player at 32.
Okay. Yeah. You got to be a lot better than them, right?
The Green Bay Packers are ranked 30th
Oh my God.
in the National Football League
Who's 31?
with no blue chip players under 25. The
Adrian
Denver
Cooper?
Broncos are 31 with no blue chip players as well. Tucker Kraft, Lucas Van Ness, and Evan Williams all graduated from this list. With those three on the list last year, they were still only ranked 23rd. It says we'll start on defense with linebacker Adrian Cooper, who will be 25 in November. Carrington Valentine still qualifies for our list as he will turn 25 in September. And safety nickelback Javon Bullard is 23. Rookie second-round cornerback Brandon Cisse is only 21. With Adrian Cooper on the list, they don't consider him a blue chip.
Matthew Golden. I know Jordan Morgan hasn't been all that, but he's going to be your starting left
Matthew
tackle.
Golden will be 23 on August 1st. Much of the offense, however, turned 25, including Kraft, Musgrave, Jordan Morgan, and Anthony Belton. So they do not qualify for the under 25 portion of the list.
Jordan Morgan doesn't turn 25 until August, technically. So
Right, but that's before the start
stupid.
of the year.
yeah, I know, but
So
you should.
September.
Your list comes out now. He should count on that list now.
I'm saying they're saying it's September at
Brandon
this point.
Cisse, they don't have any love for him
Cisse's
on
on
there.
there. Yeah, Cisse's on there. Rookie second-round cornerback Brandon Cisse is 21. So the guys that they have that qualify are Cooper, Valentine, Bullard, and Cisse on defense.
That's
And
got to
on
be
offense. The only one they even give any type of credit to is Matthew Golden. That's it.
that. Well, and like I think I kind of get that. You do have a more veteran offense looking back at it, but defensively, like I think those four guys are solid pieces to this Packers defense and can be used for this defense moving forward as key pieces of them, not just solid pieces. Like I think they should get more love than that. That's crazy.
The other part of this is they aren't there on Cooper yet. And I think if you're Gannon and you start talking about where can I make the biggest strides, I think it is with Cooper at linebacker. I think it's one area where you can make a gigantic stride. And then I think the other area where you can make a gigantic stride is using Evan Williams to go after the quarterback and blitz more and play him down in the box more. Think like Leroy Butler back in the day. I would say that Joey Ortiz, what in the world is going on with Joey Ortiz? He is still running. Can they not find the ball?
I don't think
It's
so.
by the tarp. He's at an inside the park home run. He can't find it.
Let's say
He went
the
all
guy
the
didn't
way
put his hands
around.
up at all. Why was he not
That's
putting
an
his hands
inside
up?
the park home run. Now what? Now
Oh, they're
he
saying it's a
said,
double. They're bringing it back. The
because it was under the tarp.
ump was putting up 2 fingers.
Under the tarp along the fans on the third base side. Golly. I was like, oh my God, Joey Ortiz, he's got inside the park home run. Back to second he goes. That still was a great hit. He roped it down the left field line. My
Oh, that's awesome.
goodness gracious. Joey Ortiz is on fire right now, people. The whole Joey chance. Do you think people will start buying Ortiz jerseys?
They should. 'Cause
Stop. They don't even do they
No,
even make Joey
no,
Ortiz
They
jerseys?
do because they were hanging up in the pro shop
No,
yesterday.
they
Like,
were
front
not.
and center. Yeah, it was Joey Ortiz and they had William Contreras up there.
That's crazy. They
No,
must
I
be
love,
filled with
like,
dust.
I love like random jerseys. So yeah, like Joey Ortiz, and you go, you remember that 2 months he had back in 2026? That was awesome.
That's exactly right. Okay, so asking you, the Packers being ranked 30th with talent under 25, how concerning is this to you? 30th. Not a single blue chip player, as viewed by ESPN, of anybody essentially 24 or younger on their roster, knowing that yet again, they're going to be one of the younger teams in the National Football League. Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials, you can find us at WI Sports Radio, whether it be on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page, YouTube, X, Instagram Live, all right there for you. Again, at WI Sports Radio. Charlie, is this concerning? Does this speak of Goody's drafting? What does this speak of to you?
This is not that concerning to me. I think you trade away, obviously, your first round picks to get Micah Parsons.
Yep.
So that's a pretty awesome addition that you get to bring in there. That doesn't really concern me that you're not bringing in young players. I feel like the ESPN's being a little disrespectful of some of these other young players. Again, Adrian Cooper and Javon Bullard had a breakout season last year. He was really fun to watch. I think that's all huge for this Green Bay Packers team. At the same time, when you are so veteran laden, you've spent so much money on guys that have been on this list before. I don't think you currently need to have guys on this list then now. I think you have so many young players in the past that have proven that they can graduate out of this list and be really good for this Packers team, even though they're not getting the love now. I think the 4 players that they named defensively there, I believe in them to still graduate out of this list and be really great players for this Green Bay Packers team, because that's what this Packers team has been able to do with their young draft picks.
I don't know about Carrington Valentine. I don't think
And not him, but
I'm not there on Valentine's.
Cooper, Bullard,
those two for
guys, for sure.
Yes. Cooper and Bullard, I think both can be really, really good players. And again, like we've been talking about, we don't know how Jonathan Gannon is going to end up using these defensive players, and how good will Gannon be developing Cisse, who they ended up drafting. From an athletic standpoint, the dude is top notch. Can he get the most out of that guy at that cornerback position and potentially turn him into a number 1 corner? Hey, the Minions really wanted to impress the new big boss, Wendy's, so they cooked up some fun chaos for the fans. Say hello to the Minions Monsters Meal, featuring one of 4 unique collectibles. New Banana Frosty Swirl, your choice of a big bacon classic or spicy chicken sandwich, plus a small fry. It's time to go bananas over this exclusive Wendy's experience. Limited time only.
Christian Yelich was so close to having a home run. It's a triple, which is awesome. That's great. But if you didn't hear on the leadoff show, our parlay for the people was Christian Yelich, Bryce Strang, both hitting home runs, and the Brewers winning. So we were hoping that Christian Yelich could at least pull one out. We were just trying to give these guys some hope.
Trying to give them hope, whatever the case may be. Let's see. Oh, he barreled it up. And he went the opposite way with it?
Dead center.
Oh, dead center.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right at the 400 marker. They had one hop the wall. Then a horrible attempt by the center fielder. What the world? These outfielders are brutal for New York today. They were really good the other night, though.
Well, last night they made some took some weird routes on a lot of balls, and they still ended up making plays. Tonight, you're seeing that come the other way for them.
Yeah, it's not been pretty out there. Ram, north side of Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. What's up, Ram?
Well, I was just telling Charlie we need to get Elliott Wolf's phone number, because if that list has some validity, which I think it does, I always thought that you're supposed to get the best player available, no matter where you pick. So that's why we're not on that list. But when you drafting players and then you hoping to coach them up to get to somewhere, this is what you get, And then, like I always ask you, Sparky, who is the number 1 receiver?
It's gonna be Christian Watson. That's who it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So now, if Jordan Love is not a top 10 quarterback, just say you got to have 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. Can he complete that? And who's going to be the 1,000-yard receiver?
Christian Watson.
We got to be real about it, because in the playoffs, you got to have that go-to guy. You can't spread the ball around. So that's why I think we're not on that list.
You're not going to get a 4,000-yard quarterback in Jordan Love as long as Matt LaFleur is there. They are not going to throw the ball enough, I don't believe, that you'll get Jordan Love to 4,000. Last year, he was at 3,381. Last year before that, 3,389. He was at 4,100 yards in 2023. But again, that was because of that immortal second half that they had, where literally everybody was running wide open, and you haven't seen that type of offense since that second half of that rookie year. I just don't know if you ever get back to having that type of offense again going forward.
Well, okay, so you go to playoff, you got to be able to pass the ball and go over the top.
You have to be able to run the ball and play defense.
And you got to be able to run the ball, but you still got to be able to go downfield. You also going to pack the box on you, unless you got Derrick Henry.
Well, that's why you have Christian Watson. That's why you have Tucker Kraft going down the middle. That's why you've got Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden. They got guys that get downfield.
Hey, Sparky, last question. What's the over and under on Packer wins?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think it's 9.5, maybe.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. 9.5. Yep.
All right. Charlie, no. All right. Thanks for taking my call.
You are taking the over, right?
What do you mean? I'll think about it next time I call.
Oh, stop. Goodbye. Get out of here. Y'all have the next time you call. Stop.
He wanted to leave us on a cliffhanger.
Man,
next time Ram calls.
Man, that dude called. The last time I talked to him, I'm not old. I don't look old. Man, just answer the question then. You're not old. The time you call back, you'll have forgotten what the damn question was.
He likes being mysterious. No.
I'm going to tune in tomorrow on Wisconsin Sports Daily to see who Ram picks and the over-under.
Somebody might.
9.5 wins.
I might be tuning in for that,
I love Ram. I do. He's a good dude. Okay. Lots of different things to get to here. The Brewers game, Yelich did drive in a run with that triple, by the way. So the Brewers have 4 runs now on the board, 4-2 for the Milwaukee Brewers. After the last pitch, you make the switch. Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with the franchise Tim Allen. Charlie Hughes is going to hang out with Timmy today. I have an event I got to go to tonight, so I won't be here. And then tomorrow, an off day. And then Friday, baby. Oh, Friday. I'm looking forward to Friday. Friday, we got the leadoff show from 2 to 3. I'll be hosting that. And then the Brewers play at 3 p.m. against the Rockies. Nobody really cares about that game. What everybody cares about is the old timers game with all of these old school Brewer players coming back to play a baseball game when that game is over. And I believe they're televising it. So it is going to be fun. We'll be doing the post-game show, me and Tim. And I may just be on the air fake doing play-by-play of the old-timers game going on. Nyjer Morgan, Eric Thames is coming back. I mean, there's going to be some dudes in this game.
Yeah, last year when they did the same kind of thing, it looked like it was a lot of fun. They didn't televise it last year.
But it was a home run derby.
Yeah, they did the home run derby, and that was a lot of fun. You saw the video afterwards. I think this year this is going to be even more fun with an actual game being played for sure.
Right, and that's what we'll have to see. Dave in Cudahy texted in about the ESPN ranking the Packers 30th if 25 and under talent or under 25 talent. I'm not concerned at all about this list. ESPN just laid off all of their football guys. What do they know about talent? Dave in Cudahy.
He's got a pretty good point there.
We didn't talk about it yesterday on the show, but we can talk about it coming up next. We'll dive into this. I didn't have it in the rundown, but we should address that a little bit. So we'll do that coming up next. Hey, summer's better with a Frosty in your hand. Don't forget they're $1 at Wendy's right now. $1. Go take advantage of that. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen. Watch Wisconsin Sports Daily and the Growth Law video stream on Instagram Live, X, and YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Injured growth gets it. Still to come, we'll get to things that we missed on today's show. Brewers right now up 4-2, top of 7 at American Family Field. Aaron Ashby now in the game here in the 7th inning and just got a strikeout of Alvarez to end the 7th inning. However, it's being challenged. Pretty sure that was a strike, but they'll use the ABS system. It was a strike. Go sit your tail end down, Mr. Alvarez. That ends the top of the 7th. So Brewers up 4-2, 6 outs to go, and the Brewers can win another series this year with a win here this afternoon. You like the ABS challenges? They were talking earlier in the game. Brian Anderson and Rock both love it and think it's a great addition to baseball.
I can't say I love it, but I don't hate it either. It's been pretty uneventful to me overall. There's been a couple big ones for sure. The ones where people are making fun of the ump or making fun of the players, sure. But overall, it hasn't felt like it's made that much of a difference in my viewing experience of the game, which is about what I expected going into this. The players seem to enjoy it. The players seem to have still some kind of challenge with it, so it doesn't seem like it's too easy for them, which I think would make it a bigger problem. It still is some kind of error mixed into it, which I like. So I think it's gone well, and the way that they've implemented it has gone well. I just don't want to see it become more a part of the game. I like how much of a part of it is now.
I think it does add a little bit of drama to it, and Levering has gotten much better as far as not telling us what it is before it happens. And I do really do appreciate that, because there is not, and I'm not the only one. We got text messages that day when we brought it up, and literally the next day he stopped doing it. So my appreciation to him on that. It was brought up by Dave and Cudahy before the last break about how ESPN had all of their layoffs or whatever the case may be. So first off, people are going at, Pat McAfee for saying, "Oh, $60 million a year. You're the reason why these guys are all out of jobs." Or going after Stephen A for how much money he makes. "Oh, you're the reason you guys are all out of jobs." Now, there's a big difference here, right? So Stephen A is getting $20 million a year, whatever it is, but that's all for Stephen A. McAfee's getting 60, but he has to spread that out over production costs, his producers, and everybody else that kind of goes along with it. And there was a story, I don't remember where I saw it. There's a story when he signed, I think it was this latest deal, or maybe it was the deal before. I don't remember what it was, but he put what was the number? $250,000 or something like that in to duffel bags, and gave each one of his producers just a duffel bag, full of money, and said, "Hey, dude, thanks so much. Congratulations."
Whatever
coming
else. For
kind
Aaron
of
Brandon,
kind of like a signing bonus deal. Well, one of us is going to have to hit it big and take the rest of us with him, because it's not happening here. I hate to break it to you. But yeah, that's cool, right? When you do stuff like that, your producers are never going to leave you. Those other guys on that show are going to ride and die with McAfee until McAfee retires or decides he's done, or whatever the case may be. Just like the Dan Patrick guys. For the most part, most of those guys, other than Perloff, have been rolling with that dude for a long time. I doubt Dan Patrick's doing what McAfee does money-wise with these guys of his, but I'm sure
Dan Patrick's probably not doing much worse, though, and he's probably helping out his producers at the same time.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Depending on who makes your salary and so forth, those guys are all making way more money than they'd be making anywhere else in the TV or radio business at this point. So they get taken care of. Now, do I think it's their fault of why these guys aren't getting paid? No, I don't think it's their fault. I think it's a much larger issue that comes from all of the Disney properties, right? Whether it be, who brought up, was it you brought up to me, the Avengers deal and
Marvel in general,
and how that's all fallen apart.
It hasn't been as successful. They bought Star Wars, and that hasn't been nearly as successful. They've relied heavily on a lot of their streaming shows and their streaming movies that they've put out, and a lot of those haven't done nearly as well, because I just don't think as many people are paying for Disney Plus without having it be in the package deal with Hulu and ESPN Plus. You have to have it in all three, otherwise a lot of people aren't buying solo Disney Plus. And the quality of those projects that are coming out in theaters on the streaming service just aren't nearly as high as they used to be. It doesn't feel like there's as much care put into those as it used to be. I think a lot of people are starting to become frustrated. The consumer isn't really taking that in as much. It's still Disney, it's still ESPN, it's still Hulu. They're still making billions of dollars, but I think it's enough to worry them to the point of having layoffs with their smaller properties when their bigger properties are struggling.
The other thing too that is starting to occur now is they're starting to, and they have been for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, reinvest money into their theme parks in Disneyland and Disney World, and trying to put more of an emphasis on bringing new rides in, creating new parks, new experiences and stuff like that. Where there for the longest time, those parks weren't touched. There was nothing being added. There was nothing new going on. And now they're trying to liven them up. And in the Florida case with Disney World, they've got a legitimate challenger right now, and some may argue a better product with Universal and the number of parks now that they've built over the last several years.
Well, and I think with the parks too, the other side of things is, yes, maybe they are saving money in their other areas to build up the parks, but then why are the parks so expensive? And I think for just one person to do one trip,
supply and demand, Charlie.
Well,
supply and demand.
But they raise the prices saying
why
that it's because they want to make the experience greater, and that's building extra parks. So use the extra money that you're using to charge people whatever you're charging them for any given experience, and put that back into the parks instead of saying you're doing layoffs elsewhere in order to help the parks. Like, I think it's weird that they're taking all these properties and just shoveling money around and putting a lot of people's careers and livelihoods at risk just so that they can help one other part that they're eventually then going to shovel that money away from because that's doing fine or not doing good enough, and fire all those people.
But that's all major corporations. It's a big shell game of moving money from this pot to that pot to help this guy, moving money from this pot to that pot to help this person, whatever. Like, that's what it is at the highest level. It's just a shell game of moving money around.
Why a lot of these big companies shouldn't have as many small companies underneath them. I think that's the biggest problem, is that they continue to do this and screw themselves, but then they end up doing fine overall because it's just moving the money around. If you were only to have Disney, I think you wouldn't have this problem. ESPN could have been its own thing.
So of the people that were let go, I feel like there's been a lot of support for Karl Ravech. People were kind of hurt that Ravech is gone, being a longtime MLB guy. That was one. Tom Pelissero, I feel like, got a lot of support. The NFL Network insider that he's been let go, Minnesota guy. So he is out. I'm sure. See, that's the other thing about this. Where's Pelissero going? Is Fox going to hire him to work with Glazer? I doubt it. CBS? Do they go hire Pelissero to have a real insider over there at CBS?
Probably
Peter King is done. So does NBC bring him in over Florio? I would. But I mean, that would be funny too, because that would be a Minnesota guy replacing a Minnesota guy on that set for Sunday Night
Florio
Football.
Would have heads be rolling. I think if they took somebody over him.
You know how excited I'd be if Pelissero got that job over Florio. Packer fans would be super excited. So that's another one.
Or he goes to like one of these independent media companies that are on the rise right now. How Pablo Torre kind of got his feet back underneath him after he gets fired by ESPN. I know it's a little different because he was more a general sports guy than specific football, but
I think
still,
if you're Pelissero, you need to be on a network carrying NFL football. That to me, if I'm Pelissero, that's where I want to be. I want to be somewhere where I'm going straight up against Schefter. I'm going straight up against Rappaport. I want to beat them. That to me. I don't know about everybody else. You know, that's what I want to do. Like when it was Woj versus Shams and Woj, handed it to him every single deal, that was fun. Now it's just Shams and it sucks, right? It's not the same thing anymore. There is no challenge. Fisher tries. He does. And he does a nice job. He tries, but I mean, it's not the same thing. Stefania Bell, the injury fantasy football analyst. She was nice. I love Charles Davis, NFL Network analyst. They interviewed Charles Davis a bunch. That sucks for him. Super nice guy. So that sucks that he's gone. Let's see. A couple of these other people, I don't know. Like Andres Hale, combat sports reporter, no clue. This ESPN.com staff writer, Dan Hajducky, or however his name is, I don't know him either, so couldn't tell you. But I feel bad for everybody that got let go. Now, the people that have some controversial takes as far as not going to miss him, screw that guy, right? Bart Scott has some of that. Cam Newton has a lot of that. People are like, oh, good. I don't got to watch Cam Newton on my TV anymore. I think there's some of that with Cam. The guy that's getting the most flack is Ryan Clark. Not even remotely close. And Clark took the high road in all of this, right? Wishing all of his teammates well and everything else.
Kind of needed to, I think.
Well, he did. He did the right thing for sure. See, again, I'm an outlier. I know. I think Ryan Clark did a great job on the CW NFL show that he did. What was it, on Thursday nights or whatever night that show was on? I thought he did a real nice job with that. I've complimented him before on that. Some of his takes I may not agree with or whatever else, but a lot of his stuff I thought was pretty good. Where he got himself in trouble, and I still don't think this is why he got fired, even though this is what they're all saying, is his tendency to go at people for not being football players. That's a part of it. And there was a clip circulating around social media today, back in 2020, him being on McAfee's show and telling McAfee pretty much that you ain't a real football player like me or whatever. And McAfee just lining it up and knocking it down. Oh, have you ever caught a pass? No. Have you ever thrown a football in the NFL? No. Have you ever scored a touchdown in your NFL career? No. I've done all of those things in my NFL career. You haven't done any of them. So who really is the football player? Going back at Ryan Clark. McAfee just stood toe-to-toe and took him down in front of everybody. It was amazing. But there is some of that maybe worked against him. I don't know if that's the real reason why he was let go versus maybe more just, hey, we got to cut salary. Let's start looking at numbers and where we have access of talent. There's a bunch of former NFL players they have already employed. So there was going to have to cut a couple of those guys probably.
A bunch of other former NFL players that I think are a lot more vanilla than Ryan Clark is too at points. I think Ryan Clark has his moments where he can't
Charlie,
be.
Does the ESPN carry games?
Yes.
So the NFL pays them?
Yes.
So you don't think the NFL would prefer that?
Yeah, they probably would, but that's
Okay,
what I'm
then.
saying. That's the reason he gets cut out. It's
Right.
not just one or two incidents. It's the fact that just overall he was willing to take shots at the NFL a little bit more. When he's not on ESPN doing his Pivot podcast,
Yep.
he was really going at leagues and going at people and speaking his mind a lot more than I think ESPN was comfortable with. And I think that's part of the problem too, which is really unfortunate, but because they have the NFL alongside them, they are going to do whatever the NFL wants because that's the money driver for them right now.
Here's Charlie Houston, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. The Brewers game right now, bottom of 7 with a runner on first base. Vaughn is up 4-2 Brewers. Again, 6 outs away from winning the series against the New York Mets. We're going to take a quick timeout coming up here. We'll get to things that we missed on today's show. Tim and Charlie will have the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show coming up. Hey, are you looking for a college where you can excel in the classroom and on the field? At Bryan and Stratton College's Wauwatosa campus, you can compete in NJC AA Division II athletics with more than 20 men's and women's teams to choose from. Keep playing the sport you love while earning your associate degree in business, healthcare, and criminal justice or digital marketing. Athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Let me say that again. Athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Visit bryanstratton.edu and discover how Bryan and Stratton College is built different for you. Again, bryanstratton.edu and discover how Bryan and Stratton College is built different for you. So many of you listening around the beautiful state of Wisconsin know all about the D3 schools, know about your D1 options. I feel like a lot of you have no idea about Bryan and Stratton and the scholarship money that is available and how they can help you become better on and off the field or the court and potentially lead you to a position where maybe you go play D1 sports after being there for a couple of years. That's it in the state of Wisconsin. They're the only D2. That's all there is. That is where you should have your eyes set to. Hey, I'm not going to be a D1 player. Let me go do this and show everybody that I should be a D1 player and maybe eventually get there. Or you're just looking to continue playing the sport that you love while, being in school for a couple of years and getting a degree at that. Bryan Stratton, again, is the place where you should go and get that done. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG 1881. BSG 1881.com. All right, so right now, Uribe in the game for the Milwaukee Brewers. On Francisco Lindor with a base hit to right field. 1 out now, top of 8 at American Family Field as the Brewers are looking to close this thing out. You know, we've been talking quite a bit about the Brewers trade deadline and so forth. And there was a piece out today by Jeff Passan, Buster Olney maybe, and whoever else is involved over there at ESPN about who they believe is going to be the aggressive teams. And one of the teams they think is going to be really aggressive is Tampa Bay, that they may get in on Skubal. They may get super aggressive. But the Brewers are thought to be an aggressive team as well. The Marlins are a team kind of the situation of, well, if something falls in our lap and, you know, won't cost us a ton, you know, we'll do something, but they're not going to be super aggressive. The Chicago Cubs are another team that I think people are looking at and thinking because of the wild card situation and technically 6 back or whatever it is, that they're technically still in the division race, but definitely in the playoff race. But we haven't really talked about what they are looking for really at the end of the day. Tampa Bay, we're looking for pitching and an impact hitter. The Brewers, pitching and potentially an impact hitter for the left side of the infield, even though Joey Ortiz has had an impact here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Cubs, I've heard Skubal. I've heard starting pitching.
They're going for best available. That's going to be their goal with that. I think that the Chicago Cubs are a team that they can look to find help anywhere despite them having peaks that show that they probably don't need help anywhere, and then also showing lows that show that need help everywhere. So I think they're just going to go for the best players they possibly can, trade for 2 or 3 of them, and hope that's enough to get them by.
We got a text message earlier. Where is it here? Hold on. I got to scroll down. Nicolay Law, talk and text line. I forgot what we were talking about. But they brought up, I can't find it. They brought up Kevin Gausman. Oh, here it is. Sparky, let me give you a different trade target. Kevin Gausman, free agent at the end of the year, could be a good veteran presence. Gausman, a guy that I believe is in Toronto. Shane Bieber is another one that people feel like could potentially be moved. He's coming off yet another long season of being hurt and rehabbing and has been back here for the last 3 or 4 starts. Got him in fantasy too. And trying to work his way back to being what he was at one point last year. I think Bieber wouldn't cost nearly as much as Gausman. Gausman may cost a little bit more, but again, either one of those guys I think makes sense for the Milwaukee Brewers and or the Chicago Cubs if you're not in on Skubal.
They do. I think just your biggest problem is that a lot of these, like Toronto, yes, is last place in the AL East. They're still only 46 and 55. They can turn that around in the season. A team that was just in the World Series.
No way.
You don't think so?
Not in 2 months.
I mean, the rest of the American League is kind of in the same boat.
How far away are they from the 3rd wild card spot? I think that's the most telling thing because you're right about the AL. A lot of those AL teams aren't good.
6.5 back. So they're like the last team. The A's are 9.5 back. I count them as out.
And the trade deadline is later this year, so it's August 3rd, right? So because of that, I think also leads to we don't have as much time necessarily. And I know it's 4 days difference in what it normally is, or 5 days difference, but that's 4 or 5 games potentially that you're going to have less to play with to try and chase somebody down. I think if I was a general manager of Major League Baseball, I would look at it and go, if we're within 5 or less, I think I would think about it. 3 to 5, okay, maybe I'll add a reliever or something, but I'm not going crazy. If I'm within 3 of, say, the wild card, I'm going to try and get an impact player, maybe not top of the line. If I'm sitting at the top of a division and battling to hold on or potentially battling for a 1 seed, then I'm probably tending to push more chips in, maybe to go get multiple guys to try and secure it.
But if you also feel like the rest of the league, you can beat out some of these other teams that are also going to be aggressive to get the star player that they want to get, maybe they chalk it up towards the end of the season. Maybe you can stand out of the crowd. I think because there is such a bigger pool of teams still looking to be competitive, because the trade deadline's a little bit later this year, I think you're going to see a lot of teams try to make big decisions that maybe may not be advisable, like the Toronto Blue Jays, 6.5 games back, making a big move and keeping some of their guys instead.
Absolutely right about that. I think that's very true. Bryce Terang and Andrew Vaughn just made great plays there to end the 8th inning. Terang made a great play ranging to get it. Vaughn with an incredible stretch to reach out and get it before the runner got to first base. Uribe escapes trouble in the 8th. Brewers still up 4-2 heading to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays now down to 3 outs before the Brewers win this series, which is always a good thing. Coming up, we'll continue on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Coming up on the other side, Tim Allen waiting in the wings. Him and Charlie Houston will do the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show immediately following this one. You're listening to Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team, other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Hello there. We are broadcasting live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bottom of 8 now. Brewers up 4-2. Joey Ortiz, who was going for the cycle, needed the home run in his last at-bat with a couple of outs, drew a walk. So he is on first base. Christian Yelich now up. And Ortiz steals second base and now set him up to potentially score if Yelich can come up with another hit. Yelich has, 2 hits on the day, a single and a triple?
Yep. He's been looking pretty good today.
Gosh, they need him to turn the corner in the worst way. Yelich is another guy, and I know he's old, but Yelich is another guy, man. If he gets hot for a couple weeks, can carry you still. If he gets hot like he was last year, 29 home runs. As I've stated before, give me 5 home runs in August, Yelich. Give me 5 home runs in September. Get yourself around 20 home runs on the year, and then let's see what happens in the postseason. And just like that, he grounds out, and that's that. So 3 outs left. We were talking about Kevin Gausman, and somebody texted in on the Nikolai Law Talking text line and said, Sparky, Gausman's going to be expensive. So do you know what I did? Because I'm smart. I typed into Google, Kevin Gausman Brewers. Do you want to know what I found?
Probably a couple trade proposals, ideas.
No.
Oh, no.
Per Ken Rosenthal, Kevin Gausman's 8-team no-trade list, Reds, Brewers, Tigers, Mets, A's, White Sox, Pirates, and Mariners. Kevin Gausman has no interest in playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, if we look at this list, the Reds are not good, have not been good. Okay, that makes sense. The A's have not been good, are not winning a World Series. Fine. The Mets are god-awful. Fine. The White Sox, probably when he made this list, were not good either, so that makes sense. The Pirates haven't been good in years, so that makes sense. And the Mariners, I don't know what his deal is with Seattle. Maybe he doesn't want to live in Seattle. But the Tigers and the Brewers, the Brewers, more than any of the other ones, the Brewers are consistent winners year in and year out. He's in the last year of his deal, I believe, Gausman. So it's not like you're having to move your family here and change school districts and everything else in order to do this. I don't know if he has kids, but if that's the thing, like you're going to live in a hotel for 2 months and be back on your way to Toronto to pack up your family to go wherever you go in free agency. That one, I don't know. Now, just because the Brewers are on his no trade clause list does not mean that he would not accept a trade to the Brewers potentially. You could still try it.
And I think that's when Jonathan Lucroy earlier in the year was talking about what happened when the Brewers tried to trade him to Cleveland, was it? And then he was all mad about it. And they tried to do it under the table to kind of pressure him into just saying yes so that he didn't look like the bad guy. And then he ended up just saying no anyway, so that he looked like the bad guy and didn't care about it. And the Brewers like, oh, well, okay, then we'll trade you to Texas. Maybe the Blue Jays could do something like that. I don't know. Gausman, looking at his stats so far this season, I know he's had success in the past, but he's got a 4.51 ERA, 4-9 record, a 1.28 whip. Like, he does not look good this year. I know the Brewers work magic with that, but if he doesn't want to come here, why waste your time?
Correct. And that's really the thing. But that's the other part of this. So, young Charlie, if you're, say, the Cubs, and you've got a guy out there like Gausman, do you believe your coaching staff can get him turned around and fixed and going in the right direction again come the postseason? If you're the Brewers, I'm pretty sure Matt Arnold is convinced that he could get you off of the street, and Chris Hook could figure out a way to get you to get 3 outs in an inning if he absolutely had to, as far as how to make it work. I think that's the difference in organizations as far as how they look at the deadline. The Brewers have the magic potion, the wild card called Chris Hook, where they can literally look at McCullers. Now, we'll see what McCullers ends up being the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was one game. Let's calm down.
Fine. But that's what they said about Andrew Vaughn last year.
That's also what they said. Everybody freaked out about Joel Kunal after his one game this year, too.
I wasn't here when Kunal got picked up. Where was I when Kunal got picked up? I watched Kunal's first game somewhere. I wasn't here.
Did the same thing as McCullers, threw a crazy pitch that nobody thought he could ever throw before. And it was like, well, the Brewers did it again. And then now he sucked. And then
but the one thing that didn't change was his velocity went way up with Chris Hook and the Brewers from where it was with the Athletics. And it stayed up every game after that. Now, again, control, command, all of that still has to be worked out. He's on a rehab assignment, so he'll be back here at some point as well. Well, Kuno, they're going to be getting guys back. That is going to make that bullpen situation fun to monitor and see how this all plays out. Last night, Tim Allen was on the air saying Brandon Sproat's next destination is going to be Nashville if they go and get a pitcher at the trade deadline. You had talked that you thought maybe he could go to the bullpen. Then you go look at Sproat's numbers. Man, that dude walks a lot of guys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like every game, he's walking 2, 3, 4 guys on a consistent basis. And that's part of the reason why he drives Pat Murphy nuts. Tim and I were laughing last night because we hadn't heard Murphy before we played it back. And Tim's all like, so do you think he absolutely goes off on him? Or do you think he actually is nice to him this time? Because clearly Sproat has been, the guy that he absolutely just kills all year long
He's
this
just
year.
Tobias Myers. Yeah.
Correct. He's just Tobias Myers. Right. And you know how that ended up. He's in New York now. And so he comes out and says, he pitched all right. Obviously, you don't want 99 pitches, but he pitched pretty good. Nobody saw that coming. I blame it on the meds for his hip or whatever. I think that's probably why he was in such a good mood at the end of the day. But there's going to be guys that are contributors right now for the last 4 or 5 months that will not be on the playoff roster.
No. And I think most teams have to kind of expect that at some point. A lot of teams will start bringing up guys that you would have never expected to be contributors towards the end of the season too. Now, the Brewers probably aren't going to do that unless we get some crazy contract news out of the minor leagues coming up here, which after Andrew Fisher had his old little secret Twitter thing that he was going on about with all the rumors that are going on, it's been completely silent since.
You saw he changed his profile.
I did, to him wearing the Brewers uniform now. Mm-hmm. That's interesting, Sparky.
Maybe he's got to pass the physical still or whatever.
Yeah, there's still a lot that we don't know about that situation. So I don't know if anything's going to happen there. But at the same time, I think you're going to see a lot happen at the trade deadline, whether it's minor moves, big moves for this Brewers team that's going to alter the way the roster throughout the first half of the season here. I think it's going to be for the better no matter what. I think I trust this Brewers team to make the right decision. If they say, Brandon Sproat, you're an odd man out, we got to move you down to AAA, then I trust that that's the right decision for them.
Cooper Pratt is going to get benched. I'm telling you, between base running blunders, now they had a ground ball hit to Bowers. It should have been a double play to second, and Pratt wasn't at second base.
It's just like,
so then Bowers had to go to first to get the out. That should have been a double play.
Yeah, and that base running blunder yesterday, I've been getting at Matt Erickson a lot on it too, but like Cooper Pratt deserves a lot of blame on that. Joey Ortiz deserves blame on that.
Yes.
All three of them were just bad. That was all just bad.
Murphy said last night, like, Joey saw the play. Like, why was he running? And goes, and Cooper Pratt has to know better as well, as far as he probably should have been going on that play. But at the same time, Joey should have saw that he wasn't and should have not pursued
Cooper Pratt, he was going a little bit and then kind of
like
turned
Joey
around.
Was.
Yeah, Joey head
Full
down
go.
immediately started going. Cooper started running a little bit and then stopped because I think Erickson told him to stop. But if Erickson told him to stop, how do you not see Joey Ortiz coming 90 miles per hour and just saying, no, come, just come. We're just going to get this over with, instead of getting lazily thrown out at third base, which was annoying.
Hey, fun little stat here. Alex Bregman this season for the Cubs, 699 OPS. Did you know that Caleb Durbin also has a 699 OPS? Alex Bregman, 10 home runs. Did you know Caleb Durbin also has 10 home runs? Alex Bregman, 43 RBIs. Did you know Caleb Durbin has 42? Alex Bregman, 386 at-bats. Caleb Durbin, only 305 at-bats. This was posted by a Red Sox fan yesterday morning that I just found comical, and we never got to it yesterday, so I wanted to bring it up.
Well, Caleb Durbin, good for him. I'm so happy for him. I'm glad he's doing well over there.
Yeah.
His mind meld with Joey Ortiz is pretty awesome to watch. Both of them just start doing really well at the same time. I think it's hilarious.
Yes.
And we're just not going to talk about the other part of that whole situation.
What do you make of the Miami Heat accidentally putting out a YouTube link of the press conference for LeBron James coming back to the Heat on July 27th and then having to pull it back down?
I think that means that LeBron James is probably going to be a part of the Miami Heat. At the same time, I think it's hilarious seeing all the different conspiracy theories that people are putting out there saying like, oh, Kalshi's involved. They're trying to get the Heat to do all this other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case too.
Yeah.
Do you think LeBron would change his decision after seeing that? Would that make him mad enough that like his ego would make him change?
Yes. Now, the only guy that could calm him down would be Pat Riley. Right. But yes, I think he'd be very irritated, especially if this is, hey, we're trying
Rich
to keep...
Paul can work his magic.
I think it gets to the point. I mean, Rich Paul, did you see what he saw the other day? That he pretty much was convinced he knew where he was going. And then something happened and now he changed his mind. And now he decided that he's not going there. And now it's wide open again.
Maybe it was a intern accidentally posting a YouTube stream to everybody for everybody to see.
Not good. McGill just gave up a run. 4-3 Brewers now, runner on first base. So not exactly great for the Milwaukee Brewers. But again, runner on first. That's the tying run at first base with a couple of outs. You just need one more out, Trevor McGill. Alvarez with the RBI, by the way. Just one more out.
Is it the top of the lineup? No, I think Alvarez is batting ninth for them. Yeah,
I think so.
And they don't. Soto doesn't have a sweatshirt off, so they're not going to put him in.
Which I don't understand.
Why not? Yeah,
I don't understand. Brady Ewing is going to be or AJ Ewing, I should say, is going to be the guy batting coming up here. There's a lot of other stuff I want to get to. Did you see the Damian Lillard thing?
I did.
That's all over. So Heat Central posted this thing. Davion Mitchell and Giannis working out in Greece. Remember, Lillard never ended up going to Greece like was originally planned. Then this other dude, Major Passance, whoever, Davion doing what Dame wouldn't even do. Lillard says, LOL, y'all don't want Dame to tell it. Be thankful I ain't running my mouth like these other suckers. Carry on, says Damian Lillard. Somebody's going to write a book or something on Giannis one day, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. I'm telling you, it does not seem like I don't know if he went full diva or what the deal was, but something was not good. All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. It will be the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with the franchise Tim Allen after the Brewers win 4-3. Enjoy your night, Wisconsin. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:00. We'll have a director on from the documentary Euchre that is coming out in movie theaters at the end of the week. We'll also talk to the new sports anchor at CBS 58 Milwaukee. That all comes up tomorrow here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good night. Toodles.